council meeting of January 14th, 2003 to order at 7 o'clock. Everyone please rise for the pledge. Oh, 2013. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call roll, please.
Sturritt.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Conan.
Here.
Wolock.
Here.
Ballard.
Here.
Cooper.
Here.
Audie.
Here.
Everyone has the agenda in front of them tonight. Are there any additions, deletions, or is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, I'll move that the agenda be approved as presented.
Motion by Mr. Ballard. Is there a second?
Support.
Mr. Conan? Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Any citizen comment on non-agenda items? Any citizen comments? Hearing none. We have no presentations tonight. We have quite an extensive list of administrative reports. I'm assuming that we will want to start with you, Mr. Ballard.
Yes, thank you. I have received,
Okay, go ahead.
no, okay, Rick.
Yep.
I received word that our East Main Street construction, which is going to take place in 2014, has been approved. The total cost of that has been estimated at $900,000. We're going to get $720,000 from the federal dollars, and that source is the STPU. Local dollars for that is $180,000, and that's 20%, so we have to put into it, and that's going to begin in 2014. Also, we received word that the West Main Street project, which will run from the Coon Creek Bridge to the West Village limits, it's considered a rehabilitation project. Total estimated cost of $1,050,000. There will be $840,000 federal dollars put into that from the STPU. The local dollars is $210,000, and that's a 20% deal, and that will take place in 2016. So we've got those two road projects that will be coming up.
Good job, Andy, in getting us that one.
Yeah.
Mr. Ballard, is that a guarantee or is that just on the list?
Have there be light? Wow.
Yeah, well, it's on the list and it's been approved, so I guess it's a guarantee. So we're gonna have to really watch our budgets for the $180,000 and the $210,000 for 20% of those two projects.
Perfect.
Hey, how much was the government paying on the West Main?
80%. Oh, I'm sorry, you want something?
840,000
Oh,
under administrative reports.
Yeah, 840,000.
okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Ballard or Andy? Andy, is there anything you want to add?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you, Andy.
Good job. All right, the next administrative report, I just want to let everyone know that we did submit stage 2 of the EVIP, which is the Economic Vitality Incentive Program, which is the consolidation plan. This did go to the state already, and they have received it. So we will be getting our second chunk of EVIP money. When did they cut it? It's in March or something, isn't it? Did they send that, or April? Every other month? Okay. So just to let everyone know that we did submit that. Were there any questions on that? Okay, are there any other liaison reports at this time?
I would like to point out that in the administrative reports, the planning commission minutes are in there. The planning commission also gave a 2012 in review. And
Agenda for 13.
the agenda for 13.
That was my first meeting, but basically what they want to do for 2013 is rework some of the little stuff and basically clean up some old ordinances. There were ones for animal kennels in the village of Armada. There was some goofy stuff in there, like you could have an animal kennel if you wanted, but you had to have over an acre of land.
So you couldn't have the animal.
Yeah, so there was no way to have an animal kennel basically in the residential area. They did want to try to see if we could use some CDBG money too for training if we had any left. And then there was one other thing that kind of came up that was a little interesting. There's some talk and some people, I guess, want to bring forward an idea to allow the keeping of chickens in the village of Armada. and the planning commission was gonna investigate that.
Is that it?
Yep.
Is there any other questions for Mr. Audi? Hearing none? Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Yes.
We keep getting planning commission minutes and reports from planning commission. Do we get anything from the DDA? I haven't seen anything in here in a long time.
I don't know.
I don't think they've had meetings.
They just
We had,
they
there
just
was a
had
one
a
meeting in December that you should have received the minutes from.
I haven't had minutes from the DDA since like February of 2000.
Last year?
2012.
Yeah.
And then are they
Yeah,
complete to there?
we haven't had many meetings,
No.
of course, because there's not much activity, but I think we had an August or September meeting, I think
had
there was a
budget
December
meetings.
meeting. We had
Um,
some budget meetings.
I did notice when I was going through
God bless you.
the book, that in the December meeting of 2011, they had tabled their minutes for November 1st, 2011. And unless they're in minutes that I don't have, God bless you. As far as I can tell, those minutes have never been approved.
If you check the last time you received minutes.
I-
I didn't realize you hadn't got any. Let me-
February 20, February of
Just double check that,
2012.
give me an email. I will send something to John and ask him to get that out.
If, do you know though, if they've been brought to the meetings for
To be approved?
approval?
It seems like we always approve the minutes.
I would, and I don't mind doing some kind of formal letter when, I mean, when I was the
No, I'm glad to
secretary.
do that, I just want to double check. You know, the
I checked.
DDA meetings don't tend to be as formal as these meetings. But we usually do approve the minutes at them.
Because I know when I was a DDA secretary, I turned in the minutes to Jerry, who was the clerk then, for filing and for keeping. My fear is, I don't know where they are. I mean, if somebody has a copy of them, I would hope the secretary has a copy of them. But-
And they are legal meetings and they should be kept.
Oh, yeah, they're supposed to be,
They're supposed to be.
that's
there.
Otherwise, it's a violation, isn't it?
Yeah, you got that minute.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not saying they don't, I mean, I'm just saying that I don't have them. The November 1st ones, unless they approve them at another meeting aside from the December meeting, these are 2011 minutes, then those have not been approved, as far as I can tell. But there are
November
minutes that
2011.
yes.
There should be some kind of a record on if they don't have a meeting.
It would be
Just
nice,
saying
so I
that they
could
don't
put it,
have a meeting
yeah, I know there were
for that
times,
particular month.
I know there were times that meetings were called that they didn't have a quorum, because I was at maybe one of them, but, so I'm not sure if that happened several times or not. It would, it would be nice if they would just send something in to me that says, we didn't have a meeting, no meeting, no
Again,
quorum,
get
so I
that-
put it in.
Double check that and I'll ask John to send out the meetings after that date.
Okay, I'll give you all, well, yeah, I mean, I can look and see what dates were scheduled for meetings, but again, I don't know if they really happened or not, but
No,
I'll
they
give you the
didn't all
ones that I have.
happen. There really hasn't been much activity, but there has been a couple of meetings.
Okay.
Would it be helpful if Becky went to those and was the recording secretary?
We have to
Yeah.
pay
No.
her.
No, you have to
They
pay.
don't have a
No.
budget.
And they have no budget.
And they
That's
have,
right.
they have a secretary, I mean, it's
They
not,
do?
it's not like
Okay.
there's not a secretary, there's always been a secretary of the DDA board.
And just as Dave said, the agenda's always pretty light, so should be easy enough to keep the minutes.
So,
Okay.
okay,
All right. Is there anything else under administrator reports?
thank you for doing that, Dave.
Anything else? Okay, moving on now to the consent agenda. Everyone has their regular council meeting minutes of December 17th, 2012, and the payment of bills. Is there anything anyone wants to pull, or is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, I'll move that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Motion by Mr. Ballard, is there a second?
Support.
I'll give you this one, Mr. Clark. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right?
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carried. We have no old business tonight. First thing under new business is ZBA liaison appointment. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, this is my agenda item. Currently, Mr. Clark is serving as a council liaison on that board, and he has stated that he would enthusiastically like to be reappointed to that.
Is that right, enthusiastic?
Excitement.
I think I did a couple cartwheels.
Too bad we didn't do that on camera.
So there is a motion there, if anyone would mind reading, please.
I'll move to appoint Stephen Clark to the zoning board of appeals to a term ending December 31st, 2014, or is it a 1 year or 2 year?
It's a 2-year for,
Council
The-
liaison?
yeah, I mean, it has been in the past, it's, if council wants to
All right,
change it, they can.
2014, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in chapter 2 of the village charter.
Motion by Mr. Audi, is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Wallach. Any other discussion?
It's your last chance, Steve.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Next agenda item is set negotiation committee. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Village clerk, this is your agenda item.
No. There are 3 agreements that will expire on March 31st. It's the chief, Detective Sharp, and Becky. So we just need 3 people to enthusiastically volunteer to be part of that committee.
I would enthusiastically volunteer.
Mr. Conan,
That was enthusiastic.
Mr. Ballard, that is you,
You can put me on too if you want.
and Mr. Wallach.
Oh.
That was the easiest. You didn't break any arms.
Well, you're the one, you could have it.
No, I'm happy. You're the alternate. First meeting is when?
Yeah.
All right, everyone has the motion in front of them, and you have the 3 names to fill in the spots. I'm assuming Mr. Sturt will gladly make this motion.
I'll resolve to appoint trustee Conan, trustee Ballard, and trustee Wallach to the negotiation committee.
Motion by Mr.
Support.
Sturt, support by Mr. Audi. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Next agenda item is set budget meeting dates, or workshop dates. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, this is my agenda item. We are going to go ahead and start talking about budgets. We have typically done the Mondays before our meeting, starting at 5:30 in February, and also the same ones in March, and if we need to, we do pick the other 2 days in March, the other 2 Mondays that we don't have meetings, again, starting at 5:30. We do have to end at 7 for planning commission though, but usually that's not a problem.
7:30.
7:30 is
Yeah.
planning,
Yeah.
I always forget that, okay. So those are my proposed budget dates. Is there any other discussion?
I'll move a resolve to set the 2013 budget workshop dates of February 11th, 25th, March 11th, and the 25th at 5:30 p.m., including March 4th and 18th at 5:30 p.m. if necessary.
Can I make one change to that? Can you say the 2013/2014? I should have included
Yes,
that.
that'll work.
Thank you.
Motion by Mr. Wallach, is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Ballard. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next agenda item is the 5-year plan update. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, this is my agenda item. As everyone knows, we did the 5-year plan back 4 years ago. So I think it's about time we start looking at this, especially because we have a lot of projects coming up. A lot of federal money we need to make sure we have room for in our budgets. So, and it would also help our budget process a lot quicker if we knew what kind of capital each of the departments was looking for. Joe kind of put together a little budget information showing the capital outlay. This is all the information we need. We don't need to go over salaries and health insurance and all that other stuff. Just all we need is your capital, what you're planning, what big projects you plan on doing, and for each, on the left-hand side, you'll see the years for them as well. Then what we'll do is share those. I think we have to share them with the planning commission so they have them, and then we'll have them on file as well, so it'll help with our budgets at least for the next few years. That's what our plan is. Is there any other discussion from council? Any questions?
And if anybody needs any help, you can get with me at any time.
We have 2 pages. Is one of them?
It's just 2 pages in case you.
Okay.
We know you got a lot of
In case
work
you have a
on
lot of
I got a
projects.
lot of projects.
Give me one.
And we understand that some of them are gonna change, obviously, you're gonna have to wait until your grant comes in, but, I mean, you know that grant
Right.
is gonna be out there, so there's one that you can put on there. And
Right.
We'll close up shop.
And the sheets accommodate carryover from budget to budget.
And with the road projects, Steve, with water, you might wanna figure out if you need some water lines
We
and,
do, and I wanna take care of one this year, so we're not in the bind when East Main starts.
right,
We got a short section, I think, between First and Spencer, or somewhere uptown there.
mhm.
Yeah, well, I think it's between Burke and Spencer. Maybe it's First and Spencer.
One of those two blocks.
right.
It's further
Maybe it's
down.
from Burke to Spencer.
But I think sewer is fine now, right? Was it just water that was under there, or was it both?
Sewer's on the side, but we've talked about doing a stitchiform,
Okay,
so where you just reline it and not dig up the pipe
Okay.
because of the cost.
all right.
But again, we haven't had any engineering done, or
Mhm.
that'll be, they'll look at the pipes under the grant.
Okay. And then Dave, you can help whoever needs help.
Okay.
That'll be your job.
Yeah, you need something hairy on the part.
Yeah. Jump right in there.
Yeah, we will represent.
So we were hoping to get those by the end of January for our next meeting, so that way Joe has a chance to put them in with the budgets and we can discuss it at the budget time too. Is that okay with everyone? Is 2 weeks enough time to, yes?
One more quick question, is there a dollar amount where we're talking about here? I mean, if we're doing like $1,000 improvement, you don't really care to see that, do you? When you're looking at
No, I
anything
wouldn't
above
consider-
5, 10,
Yeah,
20?
if it's a $5,000 or $10,000 project, then I would throw it in capital.
Okay.
Other than that, it's miscellaneous expense.
Okay.
And then you might wanna also put on there if you're gonna be using your equipment fund, or if you're gonna be planning on using
Yeah,
incoming funds and all that kind of stuff too, so
good point.
Joe can put them in the right lines.
Okay.
Does anyone have any other questions? Okay. Thank you. The next agenda item is the MML, which is the Michigan Municipal League membership renewal. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, village clerk, this is your agenda item.
This is our yearly renewal, but because we seem to talk about it every year, I've made it an agenda item just so we can talk about it to see if council's still interested in staying with the MML. I myself recommend highly that we do. They're a humongous source of training, they're a humongous source of information. They've handled a lot of situations for the village in the past. Hopefully there's not any upcoming ones, but I
They've always
suggest
been
that
the
we do. They've
road
always,
leaders.
yeah, they've always been a very good source for the village. The bill, or the renewal invoice itself has a legal defense fund amount of $106 in there. We don't have to pay that. That's not part of, I mean, we don't have to use that in our renewal. So I left the amount blank in case you guys are not interested in getting it with the legal defense fund.
Is that for municipalities that don't have legal representation or what?
You
No,
know-
that's, they'll take, they'll file briefs on behalf of municipalities. If there's like an issue in front of an appellate court, like, trying to think of an example where, you know, they advocate on behalf of all municipalities, and it could be like a cable TV
Right,
franchise
right,
statute.
section.
Yeah.
When they, and, you know, when that was going on, I know on the personal property tax issues, you know, the elimination of that, they will file briefs on behalf of municipalities, so. I don't know, I can't think of one that's directly been applicable to the village, but,
Would it be advantageous for us to get that done or not?
it's hard to predict. I just don't know of a lot of issues that have directly affected.
Us.
The cable franchise one's the one I can think of most recently, Joe. I know you were pretty familiar with that, but a lot of them, based on the village's size, I'm not sure there's always a direct correlation, but it's, you know, again, it's just a question of $100, so
Right.
it's not. We haven't been on this in the past, right?
You know, I didn't pull last year's to look, to be honest with you. I don't remember ever seeing that before, because this time it just caught my eye.
Mhm.
So I mean, I can check, this isn't, Let's do
I
February
don't remember it
first.
being split out like
I don't
that
remember it being
before.
split out like that. If you would prefer, I
That'd be
can,
the first time they've ever
yeah, and,
charged it.
yeah, I don't recall it ever being on there.
But you said, Jeff, that it could represent us in the personal property tax issue, and that is coming up.
No, that's done. They
That's done.
eliminated it.
They lost
There
it.
you go.
Well, I don't know, how this would, affect that, but when half the board was sued, they, represented everybody.
This is different.
Yeah, this
too.
is different.
This-
This is on like
this
a
is
class
weird.
action
Just
type.
like last time.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know,
for lack of a better.
I'm just thinking that's our, like, our fair share, we should be,
It's $100. It's not like it's
participating in it
2,000. It's
myself.
100. But, so that's up to your discretion.
But the rest of the charge, you do think we get something out of it? Because I looked at what you get, and then I was wondering if it was even worth it in general. But I'm not in the office to know.
I feel very strongly with good about the MMO. I mean, we've used them in the office for I don't know, a variety of things, calling for questions, training,
Documents,
documents, forms,
Insurance.
advice. You know, I mean, insurance.
we're all there for
it's-
guidance many,
Yes,
many times.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do we
I-
need the optional thing?
For $100.
For $100, I don't. I mean,
$6 bucks, I don't think there's
Okay.
any question there.
so that's why I left the amount blank. But
Madam President, I'll resolve to approve the 2013 membership renewal with the Michigan Municipal League for a period of February 1st, 2013 to January 31st, 2014, in the amount of $1,165.
Motion by Mr. Baylor, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Conan, any other discussion? Roll call.
Baylor,
Yes?
Conan,
Yes.
Bullock,
Yes.
Audie,
Yes.
Stirrett,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Conan, or I'm sorry, Cooper.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next agenda item is Busy Bee Disposal Contract. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, village clerk, this is your agenda item.
Every year, this comes to you, this is our 4-yard dumpster that the DPW uses. The way that they have it broken up is that we can pay a year for $814, or you can pay $74 monthly, but if you pay $74 monthly, the cost is $74 higher. They give us a month off or a month credit for doing a year. The reason we've always used Busy Bee is, in the past, we have not found other disposal companies that have 4-yard dumpsters, so bigger ones, so,
At that price.
at that price, yes, yeah. Yeah, I've not had the price be beat since I've been looking into it, so, over the years.
Has DPW expressed any concern with Busy Bee? They're
Absolutely
fine
not,
with that?
yep, they're absolutely fine with them. And it does get used, it's not just sitting there empty, so.
Have we ever checked with Howard's? They're local.
They don't have, or they didn't
They
have
don't
4-yard dumpsters.
No, they don't.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Makes it easy then.
Is there a motion?
Madam President, I'll resolve to approve the contract between the Village of Armada and Busy Bee Disposal effective February 1st, 2013 through February 1st, 2014 in the amount of $814.
Motion by Mr. Baylor,
Can you add and allow the clerk to sign on the village's behalf?
And allow the clerk to sign on the village's behalf.
motion by Mr. Ballard, is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Clark, any other discussion? Please roll call again.
Yeah. Baylor,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Stirrett,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
Bullock,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes,
Audie.
Yes.
motion passes. Thank you. That concludes our new business. Are there any upcoming agenda items?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I'd like to start on the engineering, et cetera, for downtown sidewalks started. Got some preliminary stuff here from Giffords Webster. Also like to bring to the council a memorandum that was dated February 5th, 2010 on engineering for East Main Street reconstruction. to our stimulus. And I have another thing from the U.S. Department of Transportation that was brought to me from, by Andy, from Mr. Van Port Fleet. I'm sorry, from Mr. Mark Van Port Fleet, Director of Bureau of Highways. This has to do with conflict of interest guidance for local agencies, and it's a new law that's been passed. And it takes effect, I believe, in October 1st, to be in substantial compliance by October 1st, 2012. Well,
What would you like to call that?
Do you want it as one
oh,
agenda?
I got a few words I could call it, but,
Maybe we should ask Andy.
yeah.
Andy, what should that agenda item be called?
We just call it the East Main Project and downtown sidewalks, two separate?
Three separate also, three separate
Oh, you
sidewalks.
want three separate?
Yeah.
Well, one's the downtown singing
One's the downtown
Right,
sidewalks, the
right.
other one is the
East
East
Main.
Main,
And then
and
the
the other
conflict of
one will
interest?
be, yeah, the conflict, the Michigan Department of Transportation, or
And that,
Bureau of Highways, no,
oh,
Michigan Department of Transportation
Okay,
Policy.
okay.
Okay.
perfect. Any other upcoming agenda items? Hearing none? Any other outstanding citizen comments? Any citizen comments? Hearing none, any council comments? Any council comments? Hearing none, any community events? Any community events? Hearing none, we have no closed session tonight. The time is 7:28. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So do.
Motion by Mr. Wallach, is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Clark. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carried, meeting is adjourned. Thank you. We have one more regular meeting and then our budget